Hello everybody. Today our agenda is to explore Oracle Data Visualization Desktop. Oracle Data Visualization Desktop, I would say, is like Oracle's answer to Tableau or Power BI. However, today we are not going into not going to get into the comparison between the Data Visualization Desktop or Tableau and Power BI. We are not going into that. Our objective is just to explore what are the various options and the things of Oracle DBD. So first, to download it, you need to go to the Oracle site, download section, and the same place from where you download OBI, from the same place you can download Oracle DBD 12c. Once downloaded, the installation is pretty simple, straightforward. Just click next. Once installed, you will see an icon like this. So in my case, it's already installed. So let's just open and access this one. Again, I would like to mention this Oracle DBD is a visual analysis which is of which is available at OBI 12c, available at the BICS. But it has got certain advantage, multiple data source, options of connecting to different data sources like that. So once we are here, this is the home page. You can see the various projects you have created or you have imported. Now, before we go ahead and create any report, the first objective is to create a data source. So for that, either we can click here, or from here we can go ahead and look for a data. Once we are in the data source page, these are my added data sources from earlier. However, if we want to create a new data source, just click on the create new data source and let's see what are my options. Primarily there are two options. One is the file and another one is the Oracle connection. Now for the file, but for the Oracle connection, what are the options? You can see it actually connects to various data sources. I mean, the options are pretty huge. Pretty big. Okay, you can see from Oracle applications to Apache Hive to Google Cloud to Google Analytics to SQL Server to conventional JDBC, ODBC, MongoDB, everything kind of. However, in our case, we are going to use a file. So once you click on a file, again you can select this Excel files. Okay. Now let's see. Let me go back and see in my, not in my home, in my data sources. I'm going to use this sample order lines. Click and I go for the. I need to click on the prepare. So here you can see actually there are three canvases: prepare, visualize, and narrate. In the prepare, you will see all these attributes or measures. Based on the data types, it decides whether it's a measure or it's an attribute. However, you can actually change. So let's say that go ahead and properties, like it is treated as a measure, but however, if you want, you can change it to an attribute. You can get rid of the aggregation or change the aggregation. What are the other properties that we have? We can rename, we can duplicate, we can create groups on this, we can delete this column, we can hide this column. All of these things we can do on top of this. What if I want to add one more sheet? Like say for example, in this case of the sample order lines, I see I have got the CT information, but I'm more interested with the geographical other informations also. So let's just go ahead. Can I do that? Yeah. So just add data source. I right click, add data source, and from the add data source I select. So these are again, like this has to be available as a create data source. First needs to be created, and in my case sample states are available. I'm just select add to project. So each one of these are known as a project. When we save them as a project. So now we have got two data sources or two Excel files. Just minimize them, and but they has to be connected. There has to be some relationship. So again I right click, source diagram. In this case we can see the source diagram is the join has been created. Let's check the join is based on the CT. If we want, we can actually change it we can delete it, we can add another match, all this stuff. But however, it's pretty smart enough to join these two sheets based on the column matching column names. And one more thing also, you can see, like, this is the measure sheet, you can see with this hash icon, and this is mainly the attribute sheets, that is also that we also can see. Now once our data is prepared, let's go for the visualize. In the visualize again, so these are my attributes or measures. After this, I see there are two options. The first one is the analytics and the second one is the visualizations. So let's first go for the analytics. The analytics primarily is for the statistical reports, or like doing cluster analysis, trend line forecasting, this sort of stuff. However, this would require a separate plugin to be installed. Again, we are not going into that. Let's stick to our primary objective of exploring the various visualization options. And these are, so once I go for the visualization, I see these are my available visualizations. Now how do I add that? To start with, let's go for a simple one. Let's add a bar. Just drag and drop. Once I have the bar here, I need to add the columns. Again, I go back to the my columns. Let me go and add CT. Now I'm not sure whether I should add the CT to the x-axis or y-axis, but however, you can see it's not actually allowing me to add the CT in the y-axis. And one more thing also, you can see it's a measure. Even the icon is also there for the measure, so I just go ahead and add it to the x-axis. Now with CT, let's go and add number of customers, okay, and my bar chart appears. But I also want to see my product category with that, so let me go ahead and add the color, the product category in the color, okay. But this chart is not very, very easy to interpret, so why don't I just go ahead and change this chart to a stacked bar. Okay, it looks better now. I can see the overall number of customers and as well as this how they are segregating. Now the next thing is I'm interested only for US, so let's take something from the sample states. I select country and I put into the filter. In the filters, let me states, I see United States. Okay, yes, and my chart is prepared. There is one more filter on the top I would like to mention, which is, so this filter is applicable only for this particular report, whereas this filter is for the entire tab, entire canvas, I would say. So let's just go ahead and add an order here then. Okay, so this is more of like our prompt in conventional OBI. Okay, I have added this. I have my legends and everything ready. Now let's add one more chart. Let's add a pie. Again, it's a drag and drop. My pie comes here. Let's add some product category. Let's say product category. And let's say the sales. One more thing is I can actually drag it here also, or I can drag it on the left hand side. Either way is fine. Now it shows me the product category wise sales, but however the color is not changing, so I need to add the product category to the colors also, and here goes my chart. To keep both of them in sync, let me add a filter for US also here, because this filter is not applicable in this case. As I said, this is the filter I had applied for this one, is only for this particular report. However, this year will we'll change both of them, but let's add a country filter, and in that and here goes my data. Okay, I can rename this canvas. Let me just rename it as sample1, and let's save it. Save as. So it will be saved as a project. Okay, let me name as a sample one. Okay, or let me sample one. My project is saved. I can now go back to my home page and I can see my project. To explore what are my different other charting options, one good way is to access the sample project which comes with this installation. So let's open that. Okay. Now here we have our sample project. Now in the sample project, so this is pretty much these things we know, but something which I really like to show you is, let's say, performance by office. Let's go. This chart is a combination of three different charts, 1, 2 and 3, and the best part is you can actually put one top of another. You can actually move it around. Okay, however, and so from a representation point of view, or if we are going to put it in a some PDF format, these things can be really appealing. Let's go for top countries again. This is very interesting because the one thing is here. This is known as the tag cloud, where you can actually, based on the volume or based on the measure, these numbers or these titles will actually increase or decrease in size. This is one map which is being used. Anybody like us which we have worked with map viewer in OBI, we know like how difficult it is to or what are the steps we need to follow to integrate map. But in this case it's straightforward, easy. I mean, it's available, and you can just, let me show you the map. Yes, it's straightforward, available, and you can just put it there. You put your columns and it's ready to use. There is a box plot also, which again very useful, specifically for analytical sort of reports. The next thing I'd like to share is about narrative again. So this narrative is good for preparing storylines. So here also, in this just the same way, we can create reports, we can add them, but we can add these narrative lines. And when we are in the presentation mode, we can actually go through each one of the slides and with this narrative text. So kind of a very useful tool when we are doing something, presenting us some analysis, presenting a story to a bunch of people. Let me go back to again my visualizations. So I would say, I would just like to conclude, like this is kind of a very intuitive, easy to use sort of tool, and can be very handy for preparing your own analysis. Just explore it, guys. And just the same thing, obviously there are various other charting options also, which we can actually use, like parallel coordinates and these things, but again it's just to be used. That's all. Thank you.